I don't care what anybody says, but a guy should always be paying for dates. I already know the men are gonna come in my comments crying and screaming. I don't care. If you're okay with splitting the bill, if you're okay with taking turns paying, if you're okay with being the one that's paying for most of the things, fine. That's on you, girl. But me, There are men out there who are literally paying for full-blown vacations for women, flying them out, paying for every single thing they could ever want. And you're gonna let a man make you split on a first date?
Yeah, you should. Waiter, do you have fried bumblebees today?
Well, I don't care what any woman says, but a woman should always be baking something. I already know I'm gonna be getting all sorts of women crying and whining in the comment section about how I'm the patriarchy and that they don't know how to bake, and I don't care. If you're okay with buying store-bought baked goods like cookies, cakes, and crumpets, if you're okay with hiring a baker to bake a loaf of bread for you, and if you're okay with just sitting around and not baking most of the things, fine. That's on you. But me? No sirree, Bob. There are plenty of broads out there who will bake me a full-blown Christmas baked goods bonanza in the middle of July, plenty of oven-fresh croissants, and baking every single thing that she possibly can. And you're gonna let a man settle for pre-packaged vanilla wafers?
Some men are providers and some men aren't. Some men want to give you the world in that aspect, and some men want to do 50-50, and that's fine. That's not what I want. I'm sorry, but if I'm having your baby, if I'm giving birth to a whole ass human and going through everything that I have to do for that, I am not doing 50-50. It is not a crazy ass bitch. There are so many men out there who do it, trust me. And if a guy is asking you on a date and not paying, stop. You'll never hear from me again.
Well, bye.
Hold up, woman, are you seriously implying that you giving birth is somehow akin to a financial transaction? How in the hell does that work? If you're having a man's baby, it's either because you planned to have one with him, or you were irresponsible enough in the bedroom and now you're left with the legal responsibility. Either way, it's kind of messed up that you're using that as leverage just to get out of paying for your half of the dinner. But even then, your argument is still kind of moot. It's dumbfounding how you can sit there and post this kind of entitled behavior on the internet and think that any man on this planet would want to willingly breed with you. The internet isn't like your ovaries, sweetheart. It doesn't have an expiration date.
Indeed! The men really decided amongst themselves to make themselves even more undesirable to women. This is how men are going to act like women. I would rather just hang out with women and the population. For centuries, it has been the case that men are protectors and providers. Let them be in their soft boy era. Let them alone. Try to like throw it back in our faces and be like, see, it's ridiculous. No, it's ridiculous coming from you.
And that's an interesting thing about mathematics is when you're 50% right, you're 100% wrong.
Well, you're not technically wrong, sister. Men have been traditionally seen as the providers and protectors for thousands of years, but all that changed when broads like you went on the internet to constantly shame, ridicule, and make pathetic attempts at emasculating us, but that was only when you weren't endlessly bragging about how you were able to barely meet the minimum requirements for being an adult in Western society. And in those embarrassingly long and pointless diatribes, you made it crystal clear that you didn't need us for anything. So why do you care what we do now? We never cared about you. It's not worth the energy. In fact, we're at the point in our lives where we're having our cake and eating it too, because not only are we doing our own thing, and successfully I might add, we're also laughing our freaking heads off at your expense. We can't help it. You make it too easy.
Let me be very clear when I say this. This is a movement formed by broke men. Men who have the means to be a provider. They don't act like this. They are more than happy to provide for you in the way that you need as a woman. I am thankful for the men who started this movement. The only men who want to have a soft girl life are the broke ones.
Well, let us be clear, sweet cheeks. We don't care. Now, I know you think making an uninformed comment about our financial situation is some kind of wicked sick burn in your uneducated mind, but let me put it in a language you can understand. We own our own cars, we pay our own rent, and we not only pay our own bills, but we do so in a fashion that avoids late fees. Okay, I'm sorry, that last part may have been Greek to you, but it doesn't matter. All that matters is that men don't want to provide for you because there's no point. Why should we dump perfectly good money down a bottomless pit that's home to more bodies than Blade 2 when we can invest it in something that really matters? Like a digital download of Suikoden 2. Seriously, if you have a chance to play this game, it's pretty freaking awesome.
The fact that men are coming on here and talking about how we have to settle, we don't have to do anything. Like, you can make more money or you will end up alone. Period. And if you don't like that, you as a man should be going into government and trying to change the way that the economics currently are in this country. Do something positive.
Nope. That would be a waste of time.
So men either need to make more money or get elected into Congress? I mean, political opinions notwithstanding, you do realize that in order to get elected into a position like that, you actually have to be insanely wealthy in the first place just to get a chance at getting major party backing. And if that kind of man has that kind of money, why would he waste it on a broad like you? We're talking about a congressman. Those guys party like debauched animals, and you're not even worthy of a rejection letter. Now, you're technically right. You don't need to do anything. It's far too late for you anyway, honey. You're undesirable, uninformed, and unpleasant, and no man would ever want to reduce his basic standards just to be with you. So you might as well go sprinkle some of that shame on that cake frosting you're about to gorge on while we drizzle some satisfaction in the knowledge that we've won. Hey, gentlemen and gents, did I get the drizzle thing right?
Close enough.
This is a psychological sign to know when somebody really likes you or not. Next time you're on a date or you're interacting with somebody that you find attractive and you're not sure if they're into you or not, pay attention to the words that they say. And this is exactly what I mean. Whenever somebody likes you, they will subconsciously repeat certain words or phrases that you are saying. On the flip side, if you want them to like you a little bit more, you can do the same thing to them.
What? Were you saying something?
What in the name of the ever-loving, warm and tender bear hug of the intergalactic space god Quobalachord, all hail, are you babbling about, woman? Why do you feel the need to make things even more complicated than they already are? I mean, does anybody else find it weird how human beings were able to find a mate, bond with them, and breed a human and keep society going for thousands of years without this gobbledygook? But all of a sudden, we have chicks coming on TikTok with these insanely complicated psychological mind games that only make things worse. Seriously, this is some lazy psychology, and when I hear something like this, I get weird grade school flashbacks to when, if you really wanted to annoy somebody, you just repeated the words they said back to them. And if you did it right, you could really get them riled up and mad and doing something stupid. And for those of you who didn't grow up in simpler times, here's a sample.
Well, I don't like your mother.
Why not?
Why not?
No, why not?
No, why not?
Why are you repeating what I say?
Why are you repeating what I say?
I'm not.
Well, I'm not.
What?
What?
What did he say?
What'd you say?
Did you say something?
You say something? You're lying through your teeth.
You're lying through your teeth.
Piss off, huh?
Piss off.
Piss off, kid!
So if they're telling you a story about a goofy interaction they had with one of their coworkers or friends, and they're like, oh yeah, I have this really goofy friend, blah, 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 say back to them the word goofy, or pick a word that they just said in that sentence and repeat it back to them. This subconsciously creates a connection between the two of you that he will feel, or her.
I'm sorry, I wasn't listening.
Or, and I'm just spitballing here, that guy's gonna wonder why the hell you're fixated on that one word he said. A man's tolerance for pain is surprisingly high, but if you keep repeating the same word back to him without any form of context, it's gonna quickly become nails on chalkboard, and it's just gonna confuse the ever-living piss out of him. Seriously, woman, you're making things needlessly complicated for the sake of making them needlessly complicated. If you like a guy, just tell him that you like him. That's literally all you need to do. If the guy feels the same way, then you can go and do what all modern couples seem to do these days. Go on the lovey-dovey crap for 6 months where you're constantly posting stuff on TikTok, and then slowly grow a bitter resentment towards him, break up with him, and then blame men for the fact that you're terrible at dating, find another guy, and repeat the cycle ad nauseum.
Because whenever you have the same type of vocabulary or slang or terminology with somebody else, it immediately makes you like them more and makes you feel like you guys are close. Let me know if you guys want me to talk more about little subtle signs for how to know if somebody's into you, because I have so many.
No, that's not necessary.
Okay, this main character syndrome crap has gotten way out of hand. Subtle signs, hints, and gestures that may or may not actually exist is just one of the reasons why we're in this god-awful predicament that is known as the complete and utter decimation of what used to be known as basic human pair bonding. When you pull crap like this, all you're doing is confusing the ever-loving hell out of us. We're not that complicated. If you like a guy, just say it and be prepared that he may not feel the same way. That is literally all you have to do. It is a massive time saver for both parties, and it alleviates a lot of the awkward tension if the two of you feel the same way. But considering that you act like your life is just one big sitcom romantic subplot, you'll never do this because you're a modern woman, and a modern woman's life is nothing without meaningless drama. And that's gonna do it for today's video, gentlemen and gents, and as always, if you find that my particular brand of comedy is bringing you to the brink of laughter, then why don't you scroll on down and click that like and subscribe button. Maybe ring the notification bell, leave a couple of comments, share this video, and let's give the good old-fashioned middle finger to the YouTube algorithm. And let us not forget the wise words of the scholar Michelangelo when he said that forgiveness is divine, but never pay full price for late pizza. Thank you so much for checking out the new video, and until next time, peace out, homies.